Hello, my name is Terry Collett. I'm a lead assessor and moderator with NPQ Online. And welcome to this short presentation with some thoughts about how you can help yourself to do well with your forthcoming NPQH assessment. We hope that you've had a good awareness of this final phase of your program during your program, being aware that this summative assessment process will test your leadership learning from across your NPQH program. Give you the opportunity to demonstrate your own leadership and personal growth through the response to a number of questions. And of course, it will test the quality of your responses and the relevance of your decisions that you share to the issues identified within the case study. It's very much hoped that you've given yourself time to reflect on your program learning prior to the assessment window, using any learning journals and program notes that you may have generated. And equally important, to giving yourself some quality time to reflect upon your own leadership experience and what you've gained from that. Participants have found that having a good working knowledge of the headship framework has proved very useful. As you're aware, there are 10 domains which underpin your program. And related to those domains are a number of learn that and how-to statements. And the assessment process will draw upon your knowledge of those as well. The case study is drawn from real circumstances and presents as realistic a scenario as can be done in these circumstances. And it may well be a situation with which you're not particularly familiar with. An early years leader, for example, may be asking to respond to questions about circumstances in a secondary setting. We found that thus far, participants have still been successful, although may spend a little bit longer in preparation of those responses than those from, in this case, a secondary setting. The case study comes, as you would imagine, in documentation with several pages of background information about the school and drawing upon internal and external documentation, for example. But within that, also setting out the progress that a leader has been making towards some of the improvements that the school has identified. The questions that are put to you will be asking for your views as a head teacher about how things can be improved and progressed. So setting aside some quality time for yourself within that 8-day window, one assumes on day one of the 8-day window, to fully engage and get underneath the information given within the case study will be important. There are a number of questions that will be put to you. So again, quality time to dwell upon those questions, be clear about the options that you've got, and determining which responses will best demonstrate your understanding of the case study, drawing upon your learning from the program, and give hopefully opportunity for you to link that to your own leadership experiences and learning. Part of the documentation will establish for you the domains that are being particularly focused upon by those questions. In this case, we'll perhaps look at question 3, which will be around domain 6, professional development, and part of that domain, ensuring colleagues engage in effective professional development. The written responses, as I've already indicated, but forgive me for stressing, in responding to the question, you will draw upon the practices, the theories, the learning that you've gained from the program content, reference it directly to the case study, not writing generically about circumstances that may apply to all schools. So avoiding that is important. Referencing the learn that and how to statements, and drawing upon your own leadership experience. So here's question 3. How would you, as the new head teacher of this school, Grant Hill, ensure colleagues engage in effective professional development? The question itself seems fairly straightforward, and you're given an indication of the things that you might consider including within your response. So this is guidance, and this guidance is very much linked to the learn that and how to statements. Let's have a look. In Domain 6, professional development, here we have the area ensuring colleagues engage in professional development, and beneath that, a series of bullet points where you will have been introduced to a number of things within your program. You will have been aware of these, no doubt, through your practice in your own setting. And you will need to determine which of these are quite core to responding to that question and demonstrating your knowledge, understanding, and indeed application of this thinking in response to your question. Remember, you'll have 8 days to complete the assessment. That's downloading on day one, beg your pardon, and returning before the end of the 8th day. The assessment is open book, so clearly you can reference any materials you wish and have conversations with others. But please, should you be working closely with others, particularly those who may be on this program, please avoid the dangers of collusion. And academically, with this paper, of course, avoid the issues around plagiarism. Your response needs to be technically correct as well. This is an example of a submission template. You are limited to 2,500 words across the 5 questions, and anything beyond that won't be read by assessors. Should you include charts and tables, then they will also be part of that 2,500 words, so be aware of that. The other side of that coin, of course, is not to write too little. Anything less than 2,000 words might well not provide the opportunity for you to provide sufficient evidence. As a professional paper, we would expect it to be well written. Avoid the temptation, because of the limitations of space, to write in notational form. That does not help the assessor to identify the qualities of your thinking. Avoid the temptation to use things like hyperlinks, as we're not allowed to open those either. Bibliography is not required, but it is important that you do complete all sections of the paper and ensure at the end of the day that you actually upload your final version. Occasionally we've had draft versions uploaded, and that has been a real disappointment for participants because the process can't be completed properly. So make sure everything is completed fully and submit on the 8th day, or earlier, of course, if you're confident you've completed. So best advice would be to keep the dates within that window as free as possible. A professional challenge, we recognise that. Continue to lead in your own school, observe other leaders and learn from their efficiencies and effectiveness. Reflect upon your own learning and on the source materials you've been using during the programme. Most of all, you owe it to yourself. Give yourself some quality opportunities to engage with the materials and give the greatest depth of thought that you're able to do to your responses. There are practice exercises available, and these can be fully assessed and returned to you before your assessment window if you think that would be helpful, and there's a link there for you to do that. Well, we hope that's been of some use to you, some reminders about some basic things really, in terms of preparing for that 8-day window and undertaking your assessment. We wish you every success. Thank you.